So obviously this past weekend, Tank Davis stops Hector Luis Garcia. What are your initial takes of his performance and of the fight as a whole?
I thought that was a very good performance because sometimes my criticism of Tank Davis is that he waits for the fight to come to him. He doesn't go out there and make the fight. And this was a case where he walked the guy down, wasn't overly active, but he made his opportunities. And I thought that that showed some real growth in him. Still not as busy as I'd like him to be. I don't think does enough to set up his offense sometimes. Sometimes he can be, a bit on the lazy side, but not in this fight. He actually performed pretty well. And one thing you got to take a look at everywhere he fights, DC, Brooklyn, doesn't matter where. It seems that he is just a draw. He is a star. And I know that term is tossed around a lot, but he is a star. He is a guy who, he gets on a bill and he has this sort of energy and vibe that people want to support and want to see him fight. Um, I mean, I think a lot of us found out that Meek Mill was ringside, because of him trying to, get beat up by one of the Russell brothers. But yeah, no, that's the kind of energy he draws. He draws like a lot of those like celebrities, and like so it's one of the because someone's gonna get knocked out. It's almost in a weird way, it's a sort of Mike Tyson vibe, because people tune in because they knew someone was gonna get knocked out. I don't want to say that Tank Davis has Mike Tyson energy or vibes, but certainly not in this style. But at any moment something can happen, and that's what people want to see in boxing. They want to know that anything can happen.
Well, and there's definitely multiple similarities to draw between Tank and Tyson. I thought, like you said, he kind of lets the fight come to him, and I think for a lot of the opponents he's fought, Garcia being one of them, I think this happened in the Leo Santa Cruz fight too. Like other guys will start letting their hands go and they're landing, so they start getting too comfortable in the pocket, and then once they start staying in the pocket too long, that's when Tank starts letting his hands go and landing power shots, and that's usually when he knocks guys out. I just wonder, like, at what point do you run into a guy where you can't give him 4 rounds at the start? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. I think it's someone who has a little bit more discipline. Like, remember how like when Bivol fought Canelo, he sort of didn't fall into the traps that a lot of Canelo opponents did, and Canelo was sort of frustrated. I think that when that happens, when he gets into a fight with someone who is going to stay the course, stick to a game plan, and box from the outside, it's going to be a problem. But yeah, no, I think that he didn't do that this fight. He kind of pressured a bit. I think also what played into it was he allowed Tank Davis to sorry, he allowed Garcia to kind of move his hands a bit, and that wore him down. Like Tank's a guy that I imagine if he was an amateur boxer, in a 3 round fight, if he fought the same way that he did now, he'd be 0 and 1,000, But um, when it gets to like a professional fight and it doesn't matter what the scores are if you don't get to the 12 round distance, yeah, that's a guy who can punch. He's always had great ability. I don't think that his level of opposition has been up to where it should be in terms of like justify. Like it seems sometimes like he's more of an attraction than he is a champion, right? Because he has
I think
had
that's
one
a
of
great
these
way of putting it. I've never heard anybody put it like that, but that's really good.
because like he has a secondary belt and he doesn't really
Yeah.
fight in the champions, but he fights the guys that people want to see, sort of, right? So Raleigh Romero, for whatever he was a guy who got a lot of attention because he had a personality. Ryan Garcia, I think, is would fall into that category. Ryan's not a champion; he's an attraction, though. So that's someone like it doesn't matter how you can put 1,000 belts on a guy if no one knows him, no one cares about them, it doesn't matter, right? So um there he's gotten the right opponents to sort of make that noise. Even though if you look at it, like really, like he hasn't gone out there chasing the champions, chasing the stars. He's You know, he's but he's got that it factor that people want to see him fight. So, maybe you got to say he's doing the right thing for himself.
And hopefully he does fight Ryan Garcia next. I think that was a good point you made. Just that I think he's more interested in taking fights that either casual boxing fans or people outside of boxing are interested in seeing. Whereas it's really fight fans that are going to call for a fight with Lomachenko or with Devin Haney
Yeah.
or with some of the other kind of top and more technical guys at 135.